admits it. He admits it. Uber is not profitable and no one in the gig economy is making any money. Hey everyone, this is Kevin, your Apptrepreneur. Welcome to my channel. And hey, we took a day off yesterday. I kind of wanted to enjoy Memorial Day, but guess what? We are back with, I don't know if this is a whopper of a story. Maybe this is a whopper of a story. I don't know. I actually want to do a few stories today, but this one was big enough that I decided, you know what? We might have 3 videos tomorrow, and we might have a Saturday video because I want this to be the only one that we can see right now. So anyway, this headline from Business Insider would be enough to get any rideshare YouTuber salivating at the mouth. Nobody's making money in this business. Uber CEO defends a possible Grubhub merger amid criticism of the reported merger talks. Now here's the interesting thing. This is the only thing Dara Khosrowshahi is good at, honestly. The only thing he's good at is putting a positive spin on bad deals from the company. Dara Khosrowshahi has not been helpful to anyone at Uber. His legacy right now is he alienated Uber drivers much more so than Travis Kalanick ever did. Quite a feat if you really stop and think about it. He has overseen a app revision that nobody wanted, and he brought the company public only to have the stock tank and never recover. And by the way, under his leadership, and I know that the novel C virus out there has something to do with this, but under his leadership, self-driving cars, which was Uber's future, have officially been put on ice. Heck, maybe he should have actually seized the self-driving cars with the first chance he got, like he was thinking of, and they'd have billions of more dollars in the bank to deal with what's going on right now. But Dara Khosrowshahi, his one thing is that he is a good talker on the camera. Like, you listen to him, and I was reading that Super Pumped book, and they had a few CEOs give their pitches to how they would run Uber. They really liked Meg Whitman, by the way, who is now the CEO of Quibi. So, you know, that's how it works. But what they said of Dara Khosrowshahi's presentation was that he was good, and he was kind of like Papa Dara. Like, yeah, he's kind of like a fatherly figure, and that was his strength. He had a calm, soothing voice. He talked in a way that you listened to him and you felt comforted. And so that's what he does best during these interviews. And yet, interestingly, during these interviews, he says some very outlandish things that are ripe for criticism. Now, let's look at this article and keep in mind the whole context of this interview is that, well, Uber is okay to merge with Grubhub. It's not really going to be a problem. But here's the thing. Cries a combined Uber and Grubhub could control up to 90% of the food delivery market are overblown, according to Chief Executive Dara Khosrowshahi. As everyone from grocery stores, independent restaurants, and chains make the switch to delivery amid the C virus pandemic, the market is growing too rapidly for any one business to grab such a dominating lead, he says. Quote, "This market is much broader than some people are presenting it to be," Khosrowshahi told Kara Swisher on an episode of Recode's Decode podcast published Monday. Is it though? Restaurants deliver directly, Domino's, etc. delivers directly, groceries deliver directly, including hot food, so I think that I would disagree with the definition of market. This market just got bigger. I think that this delivery of food and essentials to homes is an enormous market, and I don't see anyone or any two having 90% of that market. It's way too big a market. Now, here's where dastardly Dara, if you will, this is how he earns his money. Because he's saying, like, oh, look at the delivery market. It's big. Everybody's doing it now. There's no way someone could have 90% of the market. Here's what he's ignoring. And I'll give the politicians credit. The politicians didn't label this as the delivery market. They marketed it as a app delivery market problem. That if Uber and Grubhub were to merge, that in the app delivery space, they would gain up to 80% of the market share in some cities, which is well above what a monopoly is. It's well above what a monopoly is. Now, here's the other thing. that he doesn't quite point out. And I don't know if we've been talking about it. I should make a separate video. But well, here, let's just actually talk about it now. Where is it? Market and Confectionery. So, in March 2019, a good friend who owns a few pizza restaurants messaged me. For over a decade, he resisted adding delivery as an option to his restaurants. He felt it would detract from focusing on the dining experience and result in trying to compete with Domino's. But he had suddenly started getting customers calling in with complaints about their deliveries. Customers called in saying their pizza was delivered cold or the wrong pizza was delivered and they wanted a new pizza. Again, none of his restaurants delivered. He realized the delivery option had mysteriously appeared on their company's Google listing. The delivery option was created by DoorDash. To confirm, he had never spoken with anyone from DoorDash, and after years of resisting, the siren song delivery revenue certainly did not want to be listed. But the words order delivery were right there prominently on the Google snippet. Now, what happened here? Well, and by the way, this is the same guy who did the pizza grift. And here's what happened here. Google hijacked the phone numbers. So, tricking business onto your platform and creating additional headaches for small business owners in the pursuit of soft banking and growth is as bad as it gets. Many restaurateurs were complaining about their Google listings being hijacked by DoorDash, sometimes even usurping their own preferred delivery. These underhanded tricks aren't unique to DoorDash, though. In recent weeks, there have been some great work coming out around a Yelp Grubhub phone scam. This one is just priceless. Grubhub, for their own sites, generates a phone number for each restaurant that goes to a centralized Grubhub-owned call center. If someone calls in and orders via this number, the restaurant gets charged a fee. Apparently, some entrepreneuring BD folks came up with the idea that Yelp could put the Grubhub phone numbers in place of the real restaurant phone number on the Yelp listing. Customers who think they're helping their local restaurants by calling in the order are still creating a fee for Grubhub. Now, what does this have to do with not controlling 90% of the market? Well, here's the thing. Grubhub, Uber, DoorDash, all of them, they are replacing phone numbers of the restaurants in Google to be redirected to their business. So even if the restaurant has their own delivery service, if someone calls to order online, it doesn't always go to the restaurant. It goes to Grubhub or Uber or DoorDash or maybe in some cases Postmates. And this is what they do when they only have 25 to 35% of the market. Once Uber and Grubhub have a vastly higher market share of the app delivery market, guess what they're going to do? They're going to use leverage. They've got contacts in Silicon Valley. They're tech companies. Tech companies, they take care of one another. They try not to step on each other's toes. So they will pay Google and maybe even Microsoft, who knows, enough money so that on these search engines, when the phone number issue comes up with a restaurant, hey, make that our phone number. So people call, they will be ordering it through Grubhub or Uber Eats. And we will cut in on the restaurant there. And hey, guess what? If here's the other thing. This is what's so screwed up about it. They take that business, they get those customers, they get people accustomed to using these services. And once they have 80% and once these apps become more used at home, then these companies put the pressure on the restaurants. Like, hey, you want to be on our platform where 50% of your orders come from? Guess what? You're going to pay us a premium. That's how it works. Now, this article does point out that the market share of the combined Grubhub and Uber might not reach 90%. And honestly, I think Dara was being purposefully hyperbolic in this situation because he wanted to make himself look good. But depending on which estimates you read, the delivery powerhouse could command upwards of 50% of the U.S. market, but most fall short of that 90% figure. Still, as reports of the merger talks began to leak, pushback came swiftly from Democratic lawmakers who called the unconfirmed move pandemic profiteering and urged federal regulators to scrutinize any forthcoming deal. Now then, Dara continued with this. We always have to be concerned with their concern because these are important people that you'd have to listen to. We have been a highly regulated and locally regulated business for a long time and will continue to be. I don't know. I mean, you're supposed to be following by AB5's rules, but you're not doing that. If the concern comes from restaurant partners, making sure that the restaurant business is sustainable and they can grow. If the concern comes from couriers getting paid, that's a great concern. We're not going to listen to it, but it's a great concern. I added that part. If it's from people being able to afford this, the food being affordable and available to everyone, we are aligned in that direction. No, you're not, because when people order from these apps, they tend to pay like a good 40% more just because they're using the apps. So, but here's the bombshell. But like ride-hailing, the food delivery industry will need some form of consolidation and rationalization in order to fully thrive, he warned. In rides, for example, both Uber and Lyft had to work towards fewer coupons and promotions to pad profits and ease financial losses in the segment. Now, what's interesting about this, and they didn't have a quote from him, so I don't know exactly what was said, but this is not the first time he's hinted at this. This is not the first time he's hinted that Uber and Lyft had to work towards something. It's like, because Uber and Lyft don't have a monopoly, but they have a duopoly. And as you might have noticed, Uber and Lyft are priced very similarly. They have the same features. They're not competing with each other so much anymore as they are just coexisting. And whenever Uber does something, Lyft follows suit. And whenever Lyft does something, Uber follows suit. And again, they didn't quote the exact comment he made, but it's written right here that both Uber and Lyft had to work towards fewer coupons and promotions. That sounds like collusion to me. Sounds like price fixing, actually. That admission is probably worth investigating itself. But here's the big one. The thing is, no one's really making money in this business. So the business itself has to be sustainable, and it has to be sustainable in a way that works for restaurants, works for couriers, and works for people who are ordering the food, and it works for business as well. So things are going to change, and we'll definitely listen to the options of the regulators. What he is saying is that Uber is not profitable. Sell those stocks right now. This thing it ain't worth anything. But here's the other thing he said. Basically, you have to consolidate and you have to be sustainable. So basically what he's saying is this business cannot sustain itself if there's too much competition. There'll need to be mergers, there'll have to be buyouts. The options for consumers and drivers will have to be fewer so that Uber and whoever else survives can basically charge the customers what they want and pay the drivers as little as needed. That's the only way this is going to work. So, and by the way, I didn't open this article, but Uber just cut 600 jobs from India as well, so that speaks volumes. But anyway, there's Dastardly Dara doing his best PR spin. Maybe not his best, but he's definitely doing a PR spin. So what did we learn today? Well, we learned that according to Dara, he wouldn't own 90% of the delivery market out there, but he would own up to 80% of the delivery app market, which he completely avoided. He suggested that there will have to be consolidation with more companies. We know that these companies pay Google and Yelp and maybe even Bing, which is Microsoft, a lot of money to hijack small businesses' phone numbers in their search engine. And finally, none of this is profitable. Everyone's just hoping maybe one day it will turn a buck, but it's not actually making money right now. Absolutely incredible. Anyway, that's where we are going to leave this one. What do you think about this? Do you, I don't know, what do you I know some of you, a lot of you I've noticed are pretty upset about the idea of the Grubhub merger because Grubhub apparently pays better. I don't know. Grubhub was one of the few companies I couldn't get on board with. I don't know why. But anyway, I would like to know what you think about all of this in general. Comment below. Like, favorite, share, subscribe. By the way, the number is 894. 894 if you made it to the end. And by the way, also for anyone who's a YouTube member out there or a Patreon member, there's a special update for you. You can win a free digital copy of Sonic the Hedgehog. So anyway, that's all we're going to do. Have a good one. Flame responsibly.